All right, everybody. Valentine's Day is over, but love is everlasting, right? So with that said, we're going to cover a topic that is considered to be the ultimate culmination of love. Marriage.
Jesus.
Ben, you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Is everything all right? All right, so let's dive into it, Kings. Without getting anyone in trouble, what are your guys feeling on the dreaded N word for some?
Dreaded, Jesus.
Money?
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Micro penis?
Yes. Oh, that's a dreaded word. I tell you what, Ben. What do you think about marriage, sir?
All right.
Oh shit, that's the whole episode right there.
That's our practice.
That's the whole episode right there, guys. Oh
Let me go
man.
ahead and sip on this brown real quick.
Oh,
No,
Jesus.
but seriously, I think that marriage is something that the people entering into it have to be should be in agreement on.
Right.
And I think that if you see any sort of red flag, you should vet that as much as you can prior to saying I do. Because, and I also look at marriage like you're literally telling, all marriages to me today is that you've been in this relationship, whatever the dynamics is, monogamous or what have you, with this person, and now you're deciding to tell the state that you live in, we go together. And it makes relationships infinitely more complex if you're going to like break up.
Right.
And so to me, it's a hedge. It's a bet that you're saying, I'm so confident that we're never going to break up that I'm going to purposely make breaking up with you harder. You know what I mean? And like that. So I think that marriage, I still believe in like the idea of the institution of marriage, but I do think that like it is something that you should not enter into lightly. I think the preacher literally warns you of that, but you all like caught up in the day and no one pays attention to it.
Right.
But like, but it's something that you should take more serious than probably just about anything in your life.
All right.
But with that,
Let's save the married guy for last.
all right, Mr. Brown, please take the baton so I don't get myself in trouble.
Oh, shoot. I don't know how to follow up with that. Wow, you broke it down quite eloquently. But I mean, I guess...
Did he?
Well, I mean, like, eloquently in a sense that, like, of the realistic aspect of it.
Right.
For me, I've always thought of marriage as a beautiful thing. I think the idea of marriage is like, obviously it's kind of an antiquated concept, but I do think the idea of, just having a partnership with someone, where you can say like, you know what, I love you, I trust you with everything. Having someone that you can rely on for all that is a good thing. I think where the issues lie is, sometimes obviously, people marry people they're not compatible with,
Right.
get married for the wrong reasons. There's many factors as to why marriages, I guess, don't work out, and because people nowadays say, oh, the divorce rate is so high, so what's the point in getting married? That's an argument some people have, which I don't necessarily. I get that, but I mean, I think the reason people didn't divorce as much back in the day is because women didn't have that choice per se.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Sure.
our grandmas probably would have divorced a lot of our grandmas back in the day if they had a choice. You know what I mean? They put up with a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's just but I speaking for myself. Would I like to be married one day? Probably. I would like to think, I want to have a partnership with somebody. Someone that I can grow old with. So
Right.
I
Okay.
think there are positive attributes of marriage that I like,
Right.
but obviously there's a lot of negative stuff and a lot of shit that can go wrong in a marriage, and I can see how that happens. I think a lot of times that happens because like I said, either you marry the wrong person, you get married for the wrong reasons, or even if and just in general, like in life, like you said, you're taking a bet that you're super confident I'm never breaking up with this person, but shit can change. There can be all kind of there can be so many things that can happen that can change your life in an instant.
I would actually say like it's not that shit that can change. Shit will change because who
Yeah,
you
you're right,
marry won't be the same person you're married to 5 years down the road.
That's true.
But DJ D-Ross, what do you think about marriage? What are your thoughts on it?
Lord have mercy.
I love marriage. I think marriage is great.
Bullshit.
Oh, okay. It's my friend, Mr. Bullshit.
Oh, I think
There was some sarcasm there.
If I was in a relationship, I would feel weird not marrying the person because I feel like there has to be a culmination. There has to be another step to the journey. Whatever you're doing. If you get a job, you don't want to stay at your level of position forever.
Okay, I see what you mean.
If you drive a car, you're not going to want that same car forever. If you have a certain amount of money in the bank, you want the next level of that money in the bank. Mm-hmm. So with that said, I think marriage is a seriously outdated tradition. I think the idea of that you're just gonna want to fuck one person for the rest of your life is insane. I think that's where a lot of people get into a trap for themselves, men and women. They get this unreal pressure from all around society, media, their friends to be married, and I think a lot of people will get into a situation that they can't get out of as far as marriage goes. I mean, absolutely, can marriage be a great thing for people? Sure. Like it's a lovely fantasy to be able to just want to be with this one person for the rest of your life, and you'll only desire that person for the rest of your life. And you two are going to go through the world together. You got to tackle the world. You're going to raise these great kids that aren't going to shoot up a school. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a wonderful fantasy to have, but like a lot of things with life, it's a fantasy that's sold to you. You know what I'm saying? And I say it's sold to you because what are almost every rom-com, how does it end? Guy marries the girl, you know what I'm saying? And then they have this expensive ass wedding, and then they go off into the sunset. They don't right, exactly. They don't show you what happens after the wedding. They don't show you that it's work to maintain this relationship. They don't say that, and not just movies, just any type of media. They don't tell you that, you know, there may be a time where you cheat on your significant other, and you got to work through that. You got to, or want to, right? Or the person may not be physically. You might not be physically attracted to that person anymore. You know what I'm saying? Or you know, financial stuff. Good list, a whole list of things. But me personally, I don't. In this day and age, for sure, because our society is just so fast, I think it's extremely hard to be married. I don't know why in this day and age people would do it, because it's with that fast-moving society, people take each other for granted so fucking fast. You know what I'm saying? And people take advantage of each other so fast because in the end, like we talked about before, it's almost no different than when you're courting somebody and then you fuck them and then you're like, all right, well, you know, I got the goal that I wanted. I'm over this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think for a lot of people, especially women, it's okay. Now I got the ring on my finger that I can tell people, hey, I'm not single. You know, if a guy tries to hit on me, you can't hit on me. I'm single, whatever. And then you get your kids, and then you fill the void that's been plaguing you for all of your life. You know what I'm saying? So, with that said, I'm not a fan of marriage. I'm happy for anyone that's in a happy marriage, and yes, I'm looking at you, Brandon. But I don't. It's not my wave. I don't understand it, and I'm sure that I pissed off a lot of people just now, but
they'll be all right.
Yeah.
So that's the perfect segue into our local marriage correspondent. The one that's actually doing this crazy thing we call marriage. What are your thoughts, Flash, on marriage?
We love you, Brandon's wife.
So, all right, guys. Yes, I'm married.
Please watch
Been
what you
married
say.
for a couple years. No, I'm good. So, Yes, I mean to keep it simple. You know what I mean? Like marriage, legitimately is 100% all about the person you with. You know what I'm saying? Like I tell Jess all the time, if we would have ever separated or something was ever happened, I do not see me getting married again. You know what I'm saying? Like marriage is a lot. It's a lot of work. I think that the issue is, I think what people really think marriage. I think what people think marriage is supposed to be, versus what it actually is different. You know what I'm saying? Like the issue is, I think people look at it like, yo, when I get married, oh, we're gonna live in this great house. We're gonna have this great life. You know, things are gonna go so smooth. We're gonna have a family. The reality of it is, like, yo, stuff is gonna come up. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's going to be times where both of you guys can leave your marriage. You know what I'm saying? Like, issues are gonna come up. You know what I'm saying? Like, anybody that's been married for any amount of time can tell you that's gonna happen. But the thing that you realize, once you get married, that connection gets deeper. It gets deeper than physical. It gets deeper than pretty much everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, the difference between being married and just being in a relationship is, yo, we can sit back and, you know, I may hate your guts at the moment. You know what I'm saying? But if you need something, I'm gonna make sure I take care of you. You know what I'm saying? If, you know, we sitting back and you need a kidney, I'm gonna give that to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, the reality of it is, when you're married and you get hurt, you know what I mean? That person has a final say whether you live or die. If you can't talk, or you can't, you know what I mean, talk for yourself. So it's like, you know, it's a lot of responsibility. It's a deep relationship. You know, it's really tough if you're not in it to kind of understand it, you know, because it is a lot more than physical. Yeah, I mean, you're going to find other people attractive on both sides. You know what I'm saying? And people are going to mess up on multiple levels on both sides. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be times you're going to wake up and be like, yo, this person gets on my last nerves. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all part of it. But,
real.
like, the reality of it is, you know, you'll know because, again, that person, you may be Superman, whatever the case is, but you know there's nothing that I wouldn't do for that person, married or no married. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always tell people, like, if you want to know if you should marry a person, my thing is, if that person is at their worst, and they have done one of the worst things that you can think of to you, can you still see yourself looking out for that person and still helping that person?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like, man, anybody that knows me and my wife can tell you we've been through it. We've been together for a long time. You know what I mean? On and off since high school. You know what I'm saying?
It's a total Tyler Perry movie.
Like, all that to say, yeah, I mean, there's times we've been through stuff and we've always had each other's back. That's how I knew, you know what I'm saying, that she was going to be my wife. You know what I'm saying? And I think that, honestly, that's why Will and Jada are still together. I think that's why Tiny and T.I. are still together. All of them got issues. You know what I'm saying? I got grandparents that have been married 20, 30 years. They still got issues. It's not real to say that you're not going to have issues. That's not the thing. It's not that you're going to stop finding other people attractive. That's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? It's just all about that connection and that ride or die. It's no different from you having a best friend or a close friend. You know what I'm saying? That, yo, you got him. You know what I'm saying? No matter what happens, yo, I got you. And that's the same on a marriage level, which is a deeper connection.
So picking up on that, like that, having a deeper connection with the person is more than sex and all of that. And picking up on Will and Jada that you picked up, that you said, plus picking up on what you said, DJ Vilas, about are you cool with this being the last person that you in your life that you ever fucked? When you get married, does that have to be the last person you ever fucked in order for it to be a successful marriage?
Nah. I mean, I think that's just every relationship is different. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, you got Will and Jada. You know what I'm saying? Like, T.I. and Tiny. You know what I mean? Like, yo, that's definitely what most marriages are going to have. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I just feel like, yo, you know, every marriage has stuff. Every marriage is different. So you have to do what works for you. Right. You know what I'm saying? So if that's with y'all two staying together and just dealing with y'all two and being happy, that, you know what I mean? If y'all decide for whatever reason, yo, I can't take this being with you or vice versa, then y'all make the arrangements y'all need to make and y'all go from there. You know what I'm saying? Because again, it's not about just the sex. You can be in a marriage and y'all do whatever y'all do physically, but y'all still are in love with each other.
So quick poll, could any of y'all be in an open relationship? Or open
No.
marriage? No?
I don't know, man. That's tough.
I don't know.
That's a tough.
I don't know.
I said it once.
I won't say no.
I said it once before. I say it again. If we're boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, and wife, we're suffering through monogamy together. You know what I'm saying?
But do you have to? So I think for a lot of guys,
I
since
can't.
it's all guys in the room.
Yeah.
The one side, like you being able to fuck other girls, is like the easy part to grip.
Right.
I think for most guys, it's their girl fucking other dudes, and at this moment, most women are like, "Well, why that gotta be like that? That's what's gonna come with it." But at the same time, so I get what you're saying. I have thought about the idea of like open marriages or open relationships because, like you said, like that forever thing. One, it doesn't have to look like just y'all, but like two,
totally right.
But two, y'all get tired of each other at some point. You know what I mean? And it doesn't mean you gotta go have sex with somebody else.
Right, I feel
but sometimes, maybe that break can help y'all recalibrate.
The company of somebody else, yeah.
So here's my concern with the open marriage part of it, right?
Uh-huh.
And, women, if you listen to this, don't get mad at me. This is just my personal belief, and this is just what I see. So, I feel like as a guy, you know what I mean, you can smash chicks, you know what I mean, and leave and not think about it, you know what I mean, and keep it moving. I really feel like, not all chicks, but a good amount of chicks, I feel like they have a tough time separating physical from emotional. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Like, so it's like, that would be my concern with it. Like, I feel like most guys would be able to be like, all right, cool, that was fun. I'm about to go back home. See you later. You know what I'm saying? And some chicks will be able to do that. But I feel like a good amount of chicks would be, they're going to smash, then they start staying over, then they start cooking breakfast, and then then feelings start getting involved, and then it makes things a lot more messy than what it is. And you got some guys that do it too. They usually the more sensitive type of dudes, but you know what I mean? I think it happens more with women than it would with men.
I think a lot more guys get up in arms about their girl fucking with another dude.
Yes.
I think it might actually be more than women.
I couldn't handle that.
About their guy fucking with other girl.
I couldn't even handle my wife or whatever having a relationship with another woman. Like,
really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I couldn't deal with that. Because again, I mean, it depends on how you feel about the person. I know that if I decided to be in a relationship with you, I want it to truly be my idea of what a relationship is. Now that may go a little bit against me not being a traditionalist in a lot of ways, but at the same time, it's like y'all said, I'm enjoying the fun of fucking somebody else, sure, but there's the reality of you're fucking someone else too. You know what I'm saying? And it could get messy like that. What's that rapper name who was messing with Jada? Augusta. Anastasia or whatever. Like it can get like that. And with Will and Jada, their shit was way worse and way more hard work. And I guess the reward of them staying together is working through that. But that kind of crap is in the open, that you got this fuckhead coming out and saying that, yo, I fucked your wife and I was in love with her, and you know what I'm saying? And
but that's
can police say this? Just one thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
of that, man. Yeah, and please excuse my language, but August Alsina, that was the biggest bitch shit I've ever seen.
Agreed. That was a bitch move.
Biggest bitch shit I've ever seen. Yo, you are grown. I'm sorry, I'm yelling into Mike. You are a whole grown man, dog. Like, at what point to watch this man have the audacity with his estrogen-filled body talking about, oh yeah, I gave myself to her.
Oh,
bruh.
Yeah, you fell in love, man.
Yo, no. You are a grown man. She was already married when you met her.
Right.
Yeah.
Get over. Yo, you.
Play your position.
Dog. Like,
Play your position.
That's a whole nother topic of like,
yo.
you knew what it was when y'all started messing with each other.
And the fact that you gonna sit back and turn around and get on TV and do everything but cry because you got an album coming out, man.
He sold his soul.
He's the biggest sucker alive to me. I will not listen to another song off the strip of that. That's how bad
I didn't listen to him.
And that's not even my wife. But I'm so mad that he did that sucker move, man.
I think with the Will, because Will, and I still got to read this book, but I think in his book he talks about how Jada never wanted a traditional relationship or marriage from the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh, so
yeah, it's interesting because like when you talk about being married or in a relationship, that like meeting someone where they are.
Yeah.
Because he could have easily been like, well, I want this, and since you don't want that, fuck that. I'm just gonna go find someone else
Right.
that fits that whole dating with a purpose thing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but like I do think that there is something to, if you are going to be married, meeting that person where they are, and then meeting you where you are. So like, if 5 years from now the person you married isn't going to be the same as the person that walked down the aisle,
Right.
then it feels like for a marriage to last, you have to be able to not only meet them where they are, but continue to meet them where they are.
And there's always going to be stuff to a marriage that you never thought about going into it. Like, I'll use me for an example. I never thought that as a grown man, I would have to ask permission to stay out.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you out, you doing stuff. Because, granted, we got a kid at home. You know what I'm saying? So it's like...
that's
right, that's different.
Different.
Yeah.
Right, but you don't think about that going into it. You know what I mean? You think, you're out, you're chilling, whatever. And there's nothing worse than you being out with the guys, you being out at the gym, and then like, oh, I'm on a time clock, I gotta get back home. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a part of marriage that to me I didn't think about going into it, but now it's like, oh, all right, we here.
So, and that's the thing, because like with marriage comes responsibility, and so like with that, like thinking about how much responsibility it comes with being married, like why do y'all think like it's so important for people to be married or settled or whatever by a certain age?
I don't think it is. I think you get married when you're ready to get married. And if you never get married, like, I'm not...
Is he crazy?
Well, no, he's talking what God bring. We all probably feel that way.
Is he nuts?
But a lot
I'm
of...
going to keep it 100, like, even with my daughter, I'm not going to push the marriage thing on her. She wants to get married, fine. But I want her to be able to feel comfortable by herself and be independent and learn how to do things for herself. If you want to get married, fine. But don't tie yourself to somebody just because you want a title. Or just because you want people to look at you a certain way. If you run into somebody that's like that, cool. But don't feel like you have to be.
Yeah, but I think for women, I've had conversations with different women in like say like late 20s to mid 30s age, where it is about like being settled by a certain time, and then because of that, like they're putting what is it, like applying pressure, so to speak, to the dude. Like giving ultimatums and
you almost triple your times in divorce or your odds of divorce when you do that.
Exactly. I agree with that. That I agree with. And like so then that's the thing. Like I don't know that singleness is a bad thing, right?
It's not,
like
exactly.
I think that singleness is fine. Like this whole I don't like the idea of this whole like apply pressure or by a certain age you got to be doing this or be married. But yeah, so like that's what I feel. Stand with that.
I was watching Tamara Hall one day, right? Tamara Hall, whatever. I wasn't watching. I was at work, and it was almost like
I was about to joke you about it.
No, I don't watch Tamara Hall.
So you watching The View too?
What's that?
So you watching The View too?
Oh, stop it. But and there was a segment that came on that was really interesting, and I wanted to bring up to you guys. And it was a woman named I hope I'm saying her name right. Shawnee Silver, right? And the segment was called "I'm 30, I'm single, and unbothered." And she wrote a book called "A Single Revolution: Don't Look for a Match, Light One." And basically, what that's saying is like we got to get out this philosophy of, life is supposed to be not just marriage, not just dating, but life is supposed to look a certain way at a certain age. So, and her main quote is, it's not an advocate for singlehood. She's an advocate for single women feeling good while single, and there's a difference. And, that doesn't have to be just towards women, but it could be towards men as well. And also just life in general, like where you don't have to figure everything. You don't have to figure out your career by 30. Nope. You know what I'm saying? You're in a better place to figure out your life at 30 as opposed to 20. But I really like her message of nothing's wrong with being 30 plus and single, especially nowadays because of stuff that I talked about earlier. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really like her message, and I think that message should be echoed through our society. Like, look, life isn't supposed to look a certain way. You're supposed to life is supposed to be the way that you want it to be. You know, now that could be for some people. That could be for you want your life, you want to be totally settled down at 30. But you got to take the consequence that comes with that because you don't know life. You think you do. You don't know shit at 20, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And probably your husband doesn't either. So what do y'all think about that, about what she's saying?
I think that, I'm sorry, it's cool if I go first?
Yeah.
I think that, two things. I think that definitely gives more towards women. I think that women tend to have, you know, their idea or their plan for their life or what they want to do. Mm-hmm. I think that you have guys that are like that, but I think that they're just a little bit more rare. Mm. But especially, more so when it comes to relationships.
Right.
I don't think there's too many guys like, I want to be married by 30, I want to be kids by 35. I think that's more a woman thing. I think I do think, but when it comes to your career, I think it's definitely good to be like that. Because I think if you don't, you put yourself further and further in the hole. It's just like, if you sit back and you're like, yo, I don't know, and you go to college, you're kind of like, I just want to figure it out. Oh, well.
Right.
Meanwhile, by the time you graduate, you got all the student loans and all this other stuff hyped up. You know what I mean? And it's like, all right, now what do I do? And then you're working at this other job, and that's not working. And then you got this other job, that's not working, and you're not where you want to be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think it just depends on what realm you're talking about. Mm-hmm. But I do think you have to do what works for you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
It's not, if you want to be in a relationship, don't be in a relationship. If you don't want to be working somewhere, that don't work somewhere. You know what I'm saying? If you don't want to have a house by this age, don't have a house by this age. Like, yo, end of the day, like, yo, the only person that you got looking in the mirror is you. So you got to do what makes you happy and then kind of go from there.
Yeah, I think it's just a lot of, I think it's like society pressures. Like, if you're not doing this by this age, then you're a loser. Like, the whole college thing. Like, if you don't go to college, then, like, what are you doing? It's like, no, you're fine. Right. You're all right. You can go ahead and figure that out. Chances are you're not going to be doing with, you know, whatever you majored in anyway. Right. Same thing with marriage. Like, one of the things I've observed, and I don't know if you guys have observed this, but it seems like a lot of people, myself included, that got married really young in their 20s are, like, now doing the, like, divorce thing and single in their 30s. Like, I see a lot of people from, like, high school and stuff like that who maybe they were high school sweethearts or college, and they were college sweethearts, now are, like, you see their social media, like, oh, they're single now. Right. Mm-hmm. And it's probably because if I had to guess, they're not the same person they were at 21,
Absolutely.
22. Mm-hmm. You were still trying to find yourself and figure out who you are. Right. You know, at that time. So connecting yourself to another person, you know, probably, yeah, you probably, it's like, oh, you acting brand new. Yeah, because I'm different. Yeah. And so yeah, I think being single or being happy in being single, however that lady said it, is definitely a great idea. And like, I don't know how y'all feel about it, but I think that if and when you decide to get married, it should be like a deliberate choice.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
and
definitely.
And so like there's certain like, I think there's like, so like, okay, for example, do y'all have, well, not you, Brandon, because you're married already, but like, do y'all have like...
You're already due.
A top, right, yeah. Right. Do y'all have like a top end number? Like, say, like your net worth or money you're making per year or something like that, where you would be like,
This is where you go to Mr. Brown.
I'm not going to get married.
Really?
That's where you go to Mr. Brown for that kind of answer.
I'm really interested.
Yeah.
Because like Oprah and Diddy, right? They're famously like very wealthy. They've had like long-term relationships. Oprah with Stedman. I don't know if they're still together, but they've been together for a long time.
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. I never knew if they were still together.
And like Diddy with Cassie.
Oh, okay.
Like Diddy was with Cassie for years and years, and then she, you know, broke up with him and met another guy, got married, and had a kid, and women were like, yeah, you go, girl, know your worth. But like they didn't get married. They notably didn't get married, and you know, who knows? We don't know them personally, so we're just gonna pretend like we know that they didn't get married because when you get married as the person who makes more money, you're putting that at risk, right? You're basically saying, I'm gonna bet half my net worth or half my salary,
unless you sign a prenup,
that we're not gonna get. You saw what Dre had to go through. He actually made out really good, but like, he had to fight. He had to earn that shit.
Yeah,
he
had to earn to only give up $100 million.
But wasn't it that she didn't sign it the way that she was supposed to sign it?
Who knows? But that's the thing, right? Like you would think a prenup would be cut and dry. I don't know anything about prenups, but But like, do y'all have a top number? So say like, 5 years from now, you're making whatever, or your net worth is now whatever. Do y'all have a number where y'all say, nah, that marriage thing, I'm good?
I don't know. I mean, that's like, I guess if I was to ever become a millionaire, I guess, right? I guess we're talking like a high number.
Speak that shit into existence, man.
Positive thinking.
Yeah.
But if that day comes, right? Like, I don't know if I have like a set number per se, but I think, again, I guess I don't know. Maybe I'm an idealist. I do still kind of think like maybe a marriage could be for me at some point in my future. But if I'm ever making dollars like that, a prenup's gonna be involved. That's all. I don't know if I would like necessarily say like.
Okay, so that it is.
No, but
be involved. That's all.
I'm not saying like.
Just so you know.
I don't know if I can say like, oh, if I have a net worth of, if I have a 7-figure net worth, if I ever get that in my life at some point, like would I all of a sudden not want to get married because of that, right? I guess that's what the question is, and it's hard to say. I think for me, I guess like I would think like. And plus, you gotta think about who the person you're dealing with too. So you gotta think about, okay, like, well, do I want to meet someone who's on a similar level? Do I care about that? Like, that's the thing. Some people, I think, especially with most rich dudes, they probably don't care if their girl makes the same amount of money as they do. Right. They probably maybe they should. I don't know. I
think they should.
But generally speaking,
that's a whole nother conversation.
Right.
That is. But generally speaking, like do you care about your partner's net worth, your partner's potential in life, like what they're doing, and then how is that going to play into it? So I think for me, I think that would be the bigger factor for me. It's not so much a set number, but it's going to be like, okay, the person if I meet someone who have that strong feelings for, I'm considering marriage. Like, okay, do I also want to factor in what they're doing? Like, do I care what they making? What amount of money they make? Do they need to match me? Do I care about that? If they're not matching me, then yeah, we're doing a prenup all day. Or think she can bring it up like, what? Let's do a prenup.
I also think it plays a part of what struggles involved with that too, and if y'all come up together. Because I mean, look at Jeff Bezos. You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't, and I don't know him personally, but like he doesn't look like he's sweating. You know what I mean? And
he made all that money back in what is it, like a month?
But that's what I'm saying though. But how much money did she get though? You know what I mean?
She got a big bag,
or something like that.
Bills, dog.
Yeah,
like
30 billion. Yeah.
Yo, and my man was just like, all right. You know what I'm saying? Like it was. No sweat off his back. You know what I'm saying? But again, when Amazon coming up, she in there with him. You know what I'm saying? So I doubt.
That
I don't think he sweats it.
She was in there shooting in the gym.
Exactly.
She was shooting with him in the gym.
That I can agree with someone. What say you? Do you
I mean, my thing is, when I get the millions in the bank, right? I would want to share that with somebody I truly care about.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? But I'm also not a fool. There are people out here that want to benefit off of your hard work. You know what I'm saying? And because you hear it all the time, man. You hear it all the time. Like, and it's extremely hard to figure out who's really genuine because like after you get married, whatever, shit could just change because they know, hey, now I got this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And prenup be damned. There are ways around it nowadays. I don't know who these lawyers, these people are hiring, but all these people are, prenup or not, they still getting a ton of money out of their divorce. So
it's all about how you set it. Like, I think, like I said, there's loopholes, sure, but I think it's all about like, because it's all about what you put in the prenup. Because you could have like, there's situations where I've heard of like cheating clauses where it's like, oh well. You cheat on me, that's going to know this prenup.
Or you show someone's abusive.
Or if someone's abusive. You know what I'm saying? So it's just too many. It's I get what you're saying. Either with a prenup, it's only that might not mean you have all the security you think you're going to have.
Right. And I don't. And it brings the reality that marriage is a business.
It is, of course.
It's a business.
You have to think about it as a business.
That
makes it less romantic, I guess.
Absolutely.
But it's reality.
Yeah, but sometimes
that's the fantasy versus the
sometimes
reality.
you gotta put the fuzzy, dreamy shit away and deal with the business.
But let's be clear though. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not every marriage. You know what I'm saying?
Of course not. Of course not.
And at the same time, yeah, you go and get those parts of it. But I mean, again, like, and again, I hate to keep bringing them up, but I always like watching that stuff. But when I look at like T.I. and Tiny, and it's funny to me, I look at all the stuff that T.I. went through. Right. You know what I mean? And she could have divorced him a long time ago.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But she held him down every single time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like, and I feel like that's a lot of parts with the marriage. Like even when you look at, I forgot which president it was. that Joe became incapacitated. You know what I'm saying? And his wife was secretly running stuff behind closed doors. You know what I'm saying? Making sure he's good. So like, it's not all. Oh yeah, it's just a business. It's 1,000% about who it is that you marry.
That's true.
If you marry a real one, you good.
But
if
see,
you
that's
otherwise, and that's where you got a problem.
See, that's not a roulette that I necessarily want to play.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just feel like.
Because I'll tell you this too, man. There's so many people, like, to me, I've seen married couples and families that, to me, sometimes it makes all the difference between them being taken care of when they can't move for themselves.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Versus you finding somebody dead in the house because they ain't got no
Oh, yeah,
family
of course.
friends and they just
That's
sitting
true. Yeah.
there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like.
And that's what I mean by the partnership thing. Like, someone who's going to truly have your back in the end. Like, it's not just the good. You got to think about the end.
And usually, when it comes to caretakers, in terms of like those type, women are usually always.
Of course.
That's true.
It's usually the wife or the daughter.
That's
You know
very
what I'm
true.
saying?
I will say that.
You
You hear more stories of like, if a wife gets sick, the men leave. They don't take care of them.
Right.
They don't hold them down.
That's why you gotta have a baby girl. That way you know somebody.
Exactly.
You got a
In case your
number?
wife leave.
You got a number, Vin?
I've definitely thought about it, but
How much is in your bank account right now?
$10 more. That's a wrap.
That's it.
$26. Go ahead and donate to my Cash App. I'm broke.
Just
No.
enough to get the PS5.
Right. But no, I would say I've thought about whether it makes sense to, tell the state, oh, we go together, like go through that whole process, versus just because okay. So when you think about marriage, what is that? Like we could have a whole party to celebrate our union, like us being together.
Right.
We could sit down and have a conversation and decide that we're going to be monogamous. I can buy you jewelry. You want a ring? I can buy you a ring, and you just so happen to put that on your left ring finger.
Right.
We could, take a vacation and call it and get the honeymoon package. Like you can do all the things without getting the marriage certificate printed out off the printer at the courthouse.
Right.
And some people may call that bullshit, but like the way I look at it is, if you're going to be committed to someone, you're going to be committed to someone regardless. Mm-hmm. And if you're not going to be committed to someone, it ain't hard to say I do in front of a church altar and still not be committed to them. It's like
That's true.
so like I think it's about your intentions. If I'm gonna ride for you, I'm gonna ride for you. Now, and to me, at some point, if a woman, like if I'm in that scenario with a woman and they really really want to get married, sure I may still do it, but maybe not. It just depends on the situation.
So this only, and I'm sorry, I didn't cut off.
Bull.
That's a good idea, and I'm not against that at all. You know what I'm saying? I think the only thing that comes into play with that is when it comes to like benefit stuff. Like if for me, like say that God forbid I die in a fight tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Then I know legally that my wife and my daughter will be taken care of because it's going right to them.
You can also Google lawyers that know how to write wills.
Hopefully, yeah, facts, sure, you can.
Well, that's another aspect about the romantic side of marriage is that you building a life together. You know what I'm saying? Like that's another thing. Like you chose somebody, like you, Flash got your wife. You made the choice that I want to build a life with this person. Like I want to. If I were to die tomorrow, God forbid, she'll be taken care of. The only reason she'll be taken care of is because she's my wife.
But to be fair, though, to Vinny's point, if we weren't married, that would still be the same case, though.
Oh, because you put her in a will. Oh,
yeah, as long as you, if you have
But most
a will,
people ain't doing that,
good.
though.
Yeah, no.
Sure.
Now, here's the flip side of that. You get married, you're married for 10 years and you get divorced. Guess who gets half of your Social Security?
Sure.
Your ex-wife.
Sure.
Right.
So
that would make me cry. Like 100%.
You get remarried, you got your ride or die with you.
Yeah.
Guess what she don't get? Half your Social Security.
I need another one, though. So, to add to that point, though, to flip it, you say that as a guy you get married to, say as a guy that you have a chick, right? Yeah, I mean, you have 2 kids with a chick.
Yeah.
So, you meet another chick, and you get married. Mm-hmm. So, let's say that girl decides to put you on child support. Mm-hmm. You can't pay it. Your wife now has to pay that child support.
True.
That's on her.
Yeah, look,
you know what I'm saying? So
that's what I'm saying. It's there's a lot of intricacies to it. So I think to me the biggest thing is like knowing that you want to like build something with that person.
Right.
and building something with that person, like regardless of like whether you go to the courthouse or not. If y'all want to go to the courthouse, then go to the courthouse.
Right.
But
Absolutely.
if y'all don't want to, don't feel
Pressure.
obligated or pressure to.
Right.
But yeah.
I'm with you on that. That makes sense.
Look, all right. I think we fulfilled our obligation with all the love and marriage shit. So what's the takeaway of this whole marriage thing?
I think we just shown why the three of us are not married.
It's the bigger. The more I think the overall message being a marriage is what you make it. Mm-hmm. So whatever you the two people involved in that marriage want to define it as, you do that. Fuck what society says. If it's not within the traditional norms, you do you. If you're but on a flip, but what if your marriage doesn't work out on a negative side, you'll be fine in the long run. Yeah, it's a negative aspect of it, but it's a reality that can happen.
Yeah.
So
it's your life, man. Do what makes you
life is not your choices in life are not like guaranteed. It's not the choices you make in life are not guaranteed to work out the way you think they are.
Right. Exactly. All right.
So we appreciate everybody joining us for this podcast. We hope you learned something. We hope you laugh. Hope you're having a drink or smoking a doob or whatever it is that you do. Enjoying this lovely evening. And we will catch y'all next time. Peace.
Peace.
Whether you're married or not, have a good one.